Let's piss some people off.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Iron Spice, the podcast. This is the fifth episode. We're finally here. This episode will drop when I will be coming back from one of my trips, so that's really exciting. And what we're gonna be talking about today is the feminine versus masculine energy, why so many women are tired, angry, and disconnected, and what does feminine energy and masculine energy really means. Most people do not know what this means, and they usually mistake it as in, what am I acting like? Am I acting like a girl? Is that what you're trying to say? Or are you asking, I'm acting like a dude? That's what you're trying to say? That's not what it means. Masculine energy and feminine energy is about what you come to be in this life and in the body that you're at, and is based mostly on how you show up. Everyone has both. It's not about being a man or a woman. It's about how we function, lead, connect, and respond. I used to have no idea what that meant either, and I thought it was just handling life, just showing up, being tough, until I realized that I was stuck in survival, not softness. So this episode is about coming back home to yourself, how you are a woman and how you should be in your feminine energy, whether you are a mom, you are single, you are married, all of that. Without further ado, what is masculine energy? Masculine energy equals doing, fixing, protecting, providing, leading. Logical, decisive, goal-oriented, focused. Masculine energy builds, stabilizes, and leads. It's the spine of the structure. So, but without emotion, it becomes literally stone. And most men are always operating like that. Like, they just have to pull through and they don't have to feel emotions. And then the woman has to take charge of all that. And then it's like we feel stuck and we get stuck in this roles of picking up the slack for everyone else. An example of how women use masculine energy is running the house, the calendar, the responsibilities, fixing problems before they become emergencies, protecting her peace because no one else will. So one personal example is in a past relationship, I was doing everything: finances, planning, the emotional support, and for me, I thought that meant that everything was in control, and that whatever I was going through in the moment was making me like super strong. But really, I was just tired and disconnected from everything, from the relationship, from him. And I didn't feel safe enough to soften, to be on my feminine energy. And then what happens after a woman is in her masculine energy for too long? When a woman is in her masculine energy for too long, she starts feeling burnout, resentment, numbness, because we don't allow each other. Like, we don't allow ourselves to feel pain, to feel any emotion. We have no time to be speaking about how we feel, or this should be different, because no matter what we do, we're trapped with that person, and we feel trapped at the moment, and we don't see that anything is gonna change. So we stop expressing joy, we stop expressing sensuality or softness, and we are totally on defense mode. We become machines, not because we want to, but because we have to. So think of it as is, the feminine is like a rose meant to open, but if the weather stays harsh, the petals close. So not out of defiance, but because she has to protect herself. And then what is feminine energy? Feminine energy flows, it's emotion, softness, sensuality, receiving, emotional presence, being, not doing all the time. You allow yourself to receive love, you create beauty, and you live in intuition. There was a time I realized that I had stopped doing anything just for me. Like, there was no softness, no creativity. I was just surviving every day. I didn't care if I wore makeup. I didn't care how my hair was in the morning because I was just in survival mode. I would just get up, make sure everybody was spotless clean, talking about my kids, and dropping them off, like barely having time for myself. Like I was the last person I would ever think about because they were my priority, as they should. But also as a mom, either you're single or not, you always have to remember that you have to take care of yourself and that you still exist, that you're not defined by the role of being a mother or a wife, that you're more than that. You're a woman, that you're capable of doing a lot of things, but you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't do that for yourself, or you don't allow yourself to be in your feminine, nobody's gonna do that for you. What does feminine energy looks like? It's about being sensual, not sexual. Sensual is as in doing your hair, taking care of your skin, taking a bubble bath, doing a girls' night out, allowing yourself to sing, to smell the flowers, to just relax, and allowing yourself to slow down, because we forget that we are human, and we forget that we also need a lot to keep doing things. Also, there's this thing that happens when a woman is not under her feminine energy and is constantly on the masculine. She forgets how to receive love because her guard is so up. So for example, like if her husband comes home and he tries to rub her shoulders, that she just like shrugs him off, or like he compliments her and she just dismisses it with just saying, you're just saying that, like you don't mean it. You're not seeing the value of who you are because you're so consumed in everything else and all the chaos that is around you. Like if he says, let me help, you always need to be in control. You're like, no, I got it, because you feel as though the moment you allow him to help you, that means you're weak. And that is so not true. You cannot allow a man to love you properly if you're always with your guard up and you're not realizing that you're always on your masculine. The same goes for the men. So it's like you can't pour into a cup that's turned upside down. That's what it's like loving a woman who's forgetting how to receive. She's holding the cup, guarding it, managing it, and never letting it fill because it doesn't feel safe to her. Then there's the other variant of when men live in their feminine energy for too long. And that is something that is not about feeling like a girl or acting like a woman. Is that their feelings, the way they move, resembles that of feminine energy. They avoid, they emotionally check out, wait for you to lead the whole relationship, and then become passive or reactive in the relationship because they're not doing anything, but also they're not holding accountability for what they should be doing in that relationship. Another one of my personal experiences, another one of my partners emotionally checked out completely. I had to lead everything from daily plans to emotional work, and that's not masculine. That's an unbalanced man in his feminine, and it left me feeling alone in the whole relationship. He just felt like another kid. And another thing we don't talk about enough is when masculine energy is missing in a man, women lose respect towards that man because we start managing him instead of really admiring him. and we mother them instead of trusting them, and that is not how things should be. He should feel like a partner. He should not feel like a kid, like something else, like another task that I have to deal with, because kids do give you a lot to deal with. And then attraction fades, and they're wondering why she's so off, like she doesn't feel like doing anything, and safety is gone and survival kicks in. You're gonna be like, no, you're something else I have to deal with. So then I'm like high alert mode, because I'm like, okay, so I can't count on him. He doesn't know what to do. And it's not because you haven't tried. Here's the thing, you have tried. But when you see someone, you know what it's like, and this was my case, when I had issues, and it was always financial, this relationship that I had, and I'm gonna make a pause of like the whole list that I have of things to talk about this. When you have someone that was raised, and after many years I realized why this person was like this. The household where he lived in was led by his mom, and still is led by his mom. And the mom was the one who took care of the money, because she didn't trust her husband, even though he was so hardworking. But they were a whole different scenario. The way my ex partner saw that was that he followed exactly the path that his mom showed him. She used to be in her masculine all the time, because she would take care of paying things. She was the one in charge of buying stuff and whatever. She didn't make the money. Her husband would do the money, but then he would give her the money to physically handle everything. That was a weird situation I was put in, because I was never, but then there was so much, there was so much that I had to be done. And it was a very weird financial situation that I had to go through, that I went through. And when you see someone that when you have to make a critical decision about something, and that person just literally is just like staring into the abyss, checked out, and you're like, hey, like, what are we gonna do? What's the, like, what you're able to do and how you can get money, or how are you, what's the plan? This person is just like, I don't know, I just don't know, like feeling sorry for themselves because they're not able to be the provider that they should be. But at the same time, looking back, I can give that person grace. I would not be able to give him grace back then, because I was living it and it was stressful as hell. But in this moment, I can say he could have learned. He could have been like, hey, this is not how I want to do things. I'm going to do things different than in my household they did. Just like I've done my realizations and thought about my life the way I've had. But that's not what he did, and that's what threw me off and made me like resent him and like literally want to get rid of him altogether. I was so tired of that relationship, and I could not wait for it to end, because it was so stressful and adding more burden to me than any joy at all. Another thing that we don't talk about often is how, instead of, because then you don't trust, or really you do not respect this person. But there's a difference between men that they act very demanding and very controlling towards their partner, and they implement fear instead of respect. When you act out of that, you cannot expect respect. You're going to expect fear, and you're going to expect a woman that is going to be on high alert, fight or flight, and walking on eggshells 24/7, because respect is not fear. A woman should never be afraid of her partner's reaction. That's not leadership. It's intimidation. Real respect grows in consistency, not control. So a man is always fixing. That's what like masculine energy looks like. Fixing conflict with calm and clarity. Fixing emotional gaps by being present. Taking initiative without waiting to be told to do something. When a man pushes a woman into a masculine energy, this is how you need as a partner to realize, what am I doing that is pushing my spouse to act like this? I'm blaming her because she is always like in this bad temper, and she's always grouchy, and she's always like, why can't she be happy? Are you asking yourself, how are you coming home every day, and how do you show up every day? Because when you go to work, you're focused and you're taking decisions and you're doing and this and that, and then after you're done working, if you come home with that mentality of, I don't have to do anything else, like I just have to shut my brain off once I am done with work, is that if that's the mentality that you have when you're driving home, you're doing everything wrong. Because from work mode, instead of like checking out, like, oh, I just shut down because I need to decompress, you're forgetting that your wife, either if she works outside and she's coming home from work as well, or if she's a stay-at-home mom, or what if she works from home, then how are you gonna come home? How are you showing up to the house has a lot to do with how your wife, your girlfriend, your spouse reacts to everything and how she handles everything. When a man pushes a woman into her masculine energy, he criticizes instead of supports, adds pressure instead of peace, and comes home looking for service and not connection. Like, imagine someone being at home recovering from something, running the house and doing everything she can, and her partner just comes home from work and walks in not with relief, but with more expectations. She already knows that because this is the usual, that he's gonna walk in like raiding the whole house, asking her what she has done all day because she's at home and she is the one that has to handle kids, the house, the food, everything. She's been awake since the top of the morning. She's been working. And just because you have not been doing physical work all day because you have, like, let's say an office job, that doesn't mean that you have to go home with more expectations, because that moment right there crushes her softness. And that's when she starts feeling unsafe. Like, why am I doing this? Because every time he just comes home, he's just like, what have you been doing? What are you doing? You're home. He thinks, and that this is a very Neanderthal way of thinking, that because she's home all day, that she's had the time of the whole life, just to do nothing and just to show that because she's at home, she's okay. You don't realize that a stay-at-home mom is completely stressed out because home is work as well. It's hard for her to check out when she's always at home because there's always something to do. You can't relax because you feel guilty about relaxing because you should be folding laundry. That's one of the examples. So if you're not able to disconnect yourself from a work as the man of the relationship, that is really hard because your wife is just waiting for you to show up for her. If she's coming from work, if she's the stay-at-home mom, or whether she works from home, a man should come home and greet her with softness, the same way that makes her see you. Be curious about her day. How you been? Greet her. Validate how she feels. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. that way of thinking of she has everything and that she's just not doing anything because she's at home, that is not true. And even though there are different, like there are exceptions, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about people that are always doing something and are always moving in the world. And like a normal couple, either if you have kids or not, it is a thing. And a man should step into leadership, offer help, bring peace. How are you doing? How's your day, honey? And actually listen. Don't, the same way you're complaining about your day and you just come and you just throw your keys and you're like, because it was just like a horrible day and this happened and this other happened. And don't make it all about yourself. You're not the only person in this relationship. You are allowed to say everything how you feel, but also make space and hold space for your wife to listen to her. Just because she's been home, that doesn't mean that she has nothing to say, or that her tiredness or the way she tells you that she feels is not valid, because it's so not true. So the way she should feel, it's like she can exhale. Once she sees you, she's like, yes. He compliments me. He comes home and he lifts me up, makes me feel seen. Like, she's seen beyond what she's got done at home or at work, or what you do after you get home from work, because a woman has to still keep doing things. So instead of being like a one unit doing everything, two blending together and making decisions and making everything work, so you can have that quality time you both deserve once everything is done. If you guys work together as a team, once you guys come home, things are so easy to handle. You take the food, I season this meat, you go cook it, I'll do the dishes, I'll do this other things, I fry this thing, I clean the kitchen, we eat, we both wash our plates. Perfect. And they're kids, you do everything together. But that is how a woman expects to be seen and expects her husband when he comes home, and how he should act when he comes home. And allow her to just be her, to be a girl, that she can excel and be herself. And you can take care of the kids while she takes a hot shower, goes and takes time for herself. Because when you have kids, you have little kids, you learn really fast what is that like, not to have time for yourself. You can't be in the bathroom for more than 5 minutes. So that extra time that you are allowed to take a shower, take a bath, I don't know, shave, everything, do that hair mask, do your whole face routine, do exfoliate, like all that stuff that we love to do and barely have time because our kids come first, our family comes first. So I was talking about women that are in their masculine well-being in a relationship, and then there's the other variant, when you're a single mom. When you're a single mom, it's tougher, it's harder, because you have no one else, not to blame and not to rely on either. So it's all up to you. I know it's hard. I've been there. Like making sure that everyone has everything, and it all comes with routine. Just leaving everything ready in the previous day, lunch, everything, like, or snacks or whatever they have to take for school. And it's all about routine. They take in charge, because as a single mom, you are doing both, and that's not something you can escape from. You do bills, you do the nurturing, you do everything, but still you are allowed to have that time for yourself. You have to make space. That whole thing about, no, there's no time, I got no time, there's always time. There's always time for you to allow yourself to have time, whether it's Saturday or Sunday. Light a candle and slow down your breathing. Move your hips, dance. Allow yourself to play music like if you were 16 years old. And do one thing today just because it feels good. And just relax. And it's hard because you always feel guilty for allowing yourself to have time for yourself. It is okay. It is something that it takes years for a woman that has been living on chaos and comes from trauma that to allow herself to have space and time for herself. And this is something that also society criticizes, like if a mom ever goes out while her kids are being babysat, they're being looked at as they're irresponsible because they're having fun. And they think that you should be, once you become a mom, you lose that whole identity of being a woman, and that is so not true. Because you're still a woman and you're still in need of all those things. It might not be every day like when you were single, but you need to allow yourself to be in that in order to be able to function and not to burn out and not to crash, because it is so important for women to be able to be soft. And when women are strong for so long, we often forget to how to receive. Like we do not know how to receive love, or help. Like we are always, no, I can do it, because we always see us as we're being weak. We can't, because we have to provide, and we have to take care of and protect. And we start proving instead of expressing, and we confuse love with labor. Like the more we do, the more we care, and it's okay because it just makes me stronger. And something we have to realize as women is that we can't be the fire in our own fireplace at the same time, because we weren't built to hold ourselves up forever. We can hold ourselves up for just a certain amount of time, and we have to freaking breathe. We women have put ourselves in a situation that we guilt ourselves, because society says if you decided to be a single mom, now you have to take it. And you are defined because you're a mom and you're a single mom, and your womanhood no longer plays a role as per what society allegedly says. You're not allowed to go dancing, you're not allowed to have fun because you're a mom, and that is so wrong. And this is something I also went through as a single mother. I was single dad, like look at her, she's just like running around. I'm like, my kids are being well taken care of. Either my mom was taking care of them, or they were with their dad. So period. I mean, just because I am a mom, single mother, that doesn't mean that I can't allow myself to be in my feminine and go out, dress super nice, and go out and hang out with my friends and have fun and allow myself to be pretty and take compliments. That's what life is all about. It takes a lot of work for a woman to rebalance her energy once she's been turned into her masculine for too long. And it is something I can really speak on. When I spoke on the previous it was the second episode about being a single mom and everything I went through. It took me years. It took me a lot, and it took me a lot of understanding and pausing and seeing that my current partner was not trying to trick me because it felt unsafe. That's what I mean. And this is what I meant by what I was saying back then. When a man comes into your life and he proves to you that you can trust him. I have never ever, and this is something I need to make a stop on. Once I left my first ex, I started being me. or not path, or started going down my path. Something I never thought I could do was to trust a man with all of my financials, because even on my first relationship, he would pay everything in the house or whatever, but I still have my own things. I had my own a bank account. I used to buy the things I wanted with my money. I used to work. I used to go to college. And given the power to a man to manage my financials, I was like, oh, like that was like, it felt so precious to me, because it was something that I had to deal with. And I also mentioned this, I had to deal with this once I met my husband and I saw where he was coming from, that he was coming from a safe place. He was not coming from, oh, I'm the man, so I'm gonna manage everything and this is how things are done. Once I saw that he was, how he moved with financials and the way he was, and then he made me trust that I could give up part of my stuff so he can handle, so that I could have more time for my feminine things. It takes a lot when you're handling so much, and the fact that he has done that, and the fact that he hasn't taken for granted the trust that I put in him, because meaning that you give, once you have been closed off for so long and you don't give access to anybody to your financials or to manage anything that has to do with you, that's a big move. And once I let go of that, that doesn't mean I don't manage anything financial. It's just that I allowed for him to take my financials, his financials, put them together and just make the best out of everything. And the same way, when I want to buy something, I include him and I consulted with him and we have a talk about it. The same he does. It takes teamwork, and it takes talking, it takes expressing how you feel towards something and listening and processing and let me think about it, I'll get back to you. But it was so scary because of all the trauma that you have from your past relationships. So when you're trying to rebalance your energy as a single mom, it's hard, because you have to rest, you have to breathe, you have to let go. You have to create moments of softness, and not only as a single mom, but also being in a relationship with someone, whether the kids are his or not. And as a man, also as a woman, you have to allow support, even if it's from yourself at first. You have to allow support and help. And as a man, lead with emotionally and practically, and protect her peace, not just her body. Show up with presence, not pressure, not with expectations, not with this attitude that makes her feel unsafe. So me just finishing this episode, I hope you guys have gotten the most out of what feminine energy is and what masculine energy is. It's a very broad topic, and so many things you can get out of it. Once again, it is not about you acting like a girl or you acting like a dude. It means how you show up in a relationship. And men as well as women, we both have feminine and masculine energy. But we have to know and be able to see where are we coming from all the time. We're judging our partner that they're acting out of character a certain way, but we're not seeing how we're showing up for them. And that's the first thing you should do. She's acting like this. What am I doing? Why don't you go back to yourself and point the finger at yourself and be like, what am I doing? that I'm causing my wife, or what am I doing that I'm causing my husband to be in his feminine? Or is it trauma? Or does he have to work some things out from his past, which is totally different? So feminine energy doesn't need to be earned. It needs to be remembered that you are allowed to be in your feminine. You're allowed to be powerful and soft, commanding but yet still. Masculine energy builds the house, while feminine energy makes it a home. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Tag someone who needs this. Share it with your partner. And if you've been stuck in survival, this is your permission to soften, rest, and return to the version of you that knows how to receive. Please share it, like it, subscribe, hit that bell button, do comment. Are you still in your masculine energy even though you're with someone? And if you are a single mother, because I know you have to be in your masculine energy constantly, are you allowing yourself to be in your feminine energy? And what are a couple of things that you do to allow yourself to be in your feminine energy? Even though it is stressful, it is hard, and it's so consuming, and I know. But you have to do the most to honestly honor yourself and not forget about you. You have to come back home and show up for yourself. And stop victimizing yourself and stop victimizing what you're going through. Just love yourself. And that also means sometimes not even doing a damn thing Saturday or Sunday because you're tired. So it takes a lot of time, because that's something that I have to deal with as well. For example, the days that I have to record and whatever, I just have to wake up, do breakfast. I make sure the kitchen is clean, but do I have time to go and clean the whole house before I do this? No. I have to walk around like this, not looking at anything, get stuck in this room, get ready, and freaking record. I just have to make it happen. And then after I do that, then I can relax and be like, okay, let me take care of everything else. Do I feel guilty? Sometimes I do. Do I feel like I'm not doing enough? I do. But I am doing a lot. Right now with this podcast, I didn't realize that I'm doing a job of 20 people at the same time. Because I'm recording, I'm editing, I'm doing everything. But I'm happy. I love it. Eventually, hopefully, it will come a time that I will have a crew that will do that for me. As for now, we'll just keep on showing up. Thank you so much for watching. And if you saw this until the end, please like it, refer to your friends, and put your favorite emojis in the comments so I know that you've seen it till the end. Take care, everybody. Until the next one.
And remember, we're unfiltered, unapologetic, and unstoppable. That's that.